So you've gotten to the end of the day and you're ready to take off this mineral makeup. But did you know that there is a technique of taking off your makeup so that it not only leaves it the cleanest, but also helps maintain the moisture in your skin, especially if you have dry and mature skin. So the method that I want to talk to you about is called the double cleanse method. And what it is you start off with an oil cleanser beforehand to melt the minerals off your skin, and then following it up with a gentle cleanser. Okay, I have tied my hair back and we have made our own cleansing oil. And this, you only need about a quarter. You may end up needing more depending on how much makeup you have on. And so let me just show you about what, it's about a quarter oil. So that I might need a little bit more, especially when I have to take off the eye makeup. And this does work for waterproof eyeliner and mascara. And you just do this and you just rub it on your face. If you can, try to go in circular upward motions, things that will help your skin. So what I'm doing is just rubbing it this way, circular up, and just seeing the minerals melt. Here in the forehead, just separate that way. Okay, and I know some people, they will try to use like a cotton pad to take this off. I wouldn't use a dry cotton pad. You can use one that's been warmed if you want to help get it more emulsified, but really the best thing to do is use some warm water. So I'm actually going to use this little cotton pad and I'm going to dip it in my warm water and squeeze that out. And then try to get off whatever, and you can see quite a bit has come off. But yes, never use the dry because that's only going to feel abrasive to your skin and it may not help the minerals come off as well. Yeah, this is getting quite a bit of it, you can see. And if you notice, I didn't quite do my eyes. I actually like to do that separate. So, okay. And then let me get another cotton pad and I'll have that ready, and I'll use a little bit more of my minerals. I may not need as much simply because I'm putting this on mainly my eyes. I feel like I've gotten most off that was on my face. So close my eyes, just go circular movements, circular upward. And I know I'm doing this with my eyes closed, but I do it with a sense of feel. You can tell, especially if you got mascara. I know this is going to look really, really pretty. It look like raccoon eyes, but hey, all for the sake of education, right? So, but yeah, I feel like a lot of that got dissolved. That dissolved it pretty well. This is waterproof mascara. And I had a lot of dark eye makeup on. Oh, wow. Yeah, that definitely looks bad. Okay. Oh, let me get my not washcloth, but my cotton pad. And I'm going to dip it in my warm water. And then just take it off that way. It is tricky when you've got eyeliner in your waterline. And when that happens, what I do is I do get a Q-tip. But you can see it took off quite a bit of the black on there. Okay, let me get a Q-tip like this. And this is when you can even just add like a little drop. That's what I do. Just put a little bit on there. You make sure that closes off because I don't want to knock that off. I've done that before with oil. I'm like, no. Because these oils, they can get expensive. Okay. And just make sure you do it gently. Don't pull on your eye too much. But luckily, this oil really does help get that stuff off pretty well. Yeah, you can see all the icky stuff on it. And other side. And then sometimes I'll just see, because I did do the tight lining underneath my eye. That can get tricky. Okay, try the other side. And I feel like that's off pretty well, right? Okay. So that's really all you need to do, is just really try to prep your skin so that when you put on your cleanser, sorry. Okay, and for you all, I'm gonna just use the Cetaphil. I have like my other cleanser, but I did not bring that down. But I just wanted to let you all see what this all looks like. So I just put that on. You don't need a whole lot. Unfortunately, the pump on mine's broken. It happened in my move from Texas to Tennessee, but you really don't use a whole lot. And you don't want something that really, because the more soap you have, obviously, the more you have to rinse off. So here, it's just putting it on my skin. And like I told you guys, I've made my own cleanser, and that one actually doesn't like suds up like this one. It's better if your cleanser actually doesn't suds up. It means you don't have all those extra things in there that, I think it's the sodium lauryl sulfate. I can't remember if this one does have it on there. Anyway, yeah, that one does have some in there. So that's why I did want to start making my own cleanser. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of water just to add some more. I feel like I'm in those Neutrogena commercials that they used to do when I was younger. And I guess I don't know, do they still have those commercials where they have like the bowl and the girl is like just splashing water on her face? Well, I'm not going to do that here. I can't make a mess like that. Not for this. But luckily I can do it without. So, and you just go in circular movements. If you can try to remember to go upward, that just helps so that you're not pulling on your skin. Okay, and so here I could do the big splash, but what I did is I'm just getting a washcloth. And like I talked about in my skin prep video, the washcloth actually is beneficial when you are doing like for exfoliation, because most washcloths, they have a bit of a texture to them, and that's really enough of light exfoliation for you to do that you could do every single day. And so from here, this is where you can just wipe it off. Try not to pull too hard. In fact, I don't know if this might already be too much, but you can do like a light splash of water, which I may do here. I just need a little bit just to rinse it off, but for the most part that feels like it's off my skin, because like there it got put on. It actually looks dirtier on the camera, but it's actually not that bad. I think it got a lot of it off, and that may actually be from like what I did before, but I just kind of cleanse it some more and just see. Yeah, I feel like that got most of it off. So I try to do that. Okay, and then here you can go ahead and put your toner on. And like I was telling you guys in a different video, you can use like a hydrating toner, because the routine you're seeing, it's really more for people that are mature or dry. So if you have oilier skin, adapt it for what you need. I know back when I had oily skin, I would get the one that had like salicylic acid in it, just because it would like soak up all the extra sebum and oils and stuff that I didn't need and that were causing breakouts, because I had really bad skin when I was in my 20s. My skin actually looks better now. But yeah, you could just use whatever toner would be appropriate for your skin type. And so, and what I do is I just put it like on a cotton pad, and I used to like wipe it. And then when I started researching on how you're supposed to put on, toners like this, you actually just press it on your skin like that. And I think one of the hydrating things in this is the aloe vera. And as you all know, I like the aloe vera. That's one of the things I used in my primer recipe. Okay. So there we go. Mainly just do it there. Okay. And there are also some like toners that have like glycolic acid and such. And one thing that I learned is that if you don't want it to burn after you wash your face, make sure your skin is super dry before you put it on. And if you have like extra burn, they said actually put on like your moisturizer on before that, and that'll help take care of it, and that might decrease some of your dryness. And then from here, you can pretty much do whatever routine that you have, but I'll show you what I do, because again, I want to demonstrate what you can do to keep your skin as hydrated as possible, especially using something that may be drying like loose mineral foundation. So I do pat my skin some more. Okay, and then from here, from what I understand, like if you use a prescription, so I have one that I use from Muesli that has tretinoin and some other thing. What is it? But anyway, oh yeah, is it the kojic acid? Is that because I have like some hyperpigmentation, because remember how I was saying, or maybe you don't, but I told you that I had not really used sunscreen very much until like these last few years. And so what I, I just to kind of like keep this thing nipped in the bud, because right now it really doesn't look too bad, but you can see it much more clearly when you see me up close. So they said if you are wearing a prescription like this, you want to put this one on first. However, if you tend to have a lot of dryness, you want to put your moisturizer on before it. And I know that for me, it's worked. Like my skin hasn't, I've been using this for about like 3 weeks now, and I haven't had any redness or peeling or drying, which is really a good sign, which means that a lot of the things that I'm doing is really helping with barrier, like I guess not repair, but like with maintaining my barrier. And so I'm going to actually put on the Muesli first. And it's just usually just like a little bit of it's just one pump. And then I put it on the areas that, I'll have to get that in just a second. So like the areas where I have like the pigmentation, which is exactly like where the sun hits. So that's how I know it has to do with not wearing like the sunscreen. So usually it's like along my cheekbone. That's exactly where I put on my bronzer too, if you watch some of my other videos. And then of course my nose. And I don't know, maybe not do what I'm doing. I'm going downward, but yeah, for my cheeks I go up. It's very light. And then I get some look on my cheek. Not my cheek, sorry, my chin. I promise, I know anatomy. And then I put some on my forehead. There's not a whole lot there. So it's mainly just like along here where I had some of the hyperpigmentation. Okay, so before I do any more, I'm just gonna let that sit for a bit. And then I'll come back. In fact, when I pause it, I'm gonna go get my stuff that just fell on the floor. So this is a moisturizer that I've been working on, maybe for Adorned with Grace, but this is gonna be way in the future. And it just has a lot of great ingredients. I believe I put like peptides in it. It's got my favorites like hyaluronic acid, my niacinamide, it has like panthenol, it has like squalane too, which I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, just a lot of things that are really nourishing and great, and why I think that my skin has been able to tolerate some of the more like difficult ingredients that's in the tretinoin that I got for a prescription. So this one again is just a nice little pump. Then I just dot it all over like that. It does feel really nice. I can tell like my skin's so moisturized afterward, like as far as like hydration. Because as I mentioned in my skin prep video, the whole point of when you do moisturizer is you want to add moisture and water back to your skin. Because that's the stuff that your minerals might be taking off of you during the day. So you want to try to replace it as much as you can. Okay. So it's like the other things, you want to give it a few more minutes. So again, we might do just a quick time jump so you're not sitting here listening to me the whole time talking about who knows what. And then we have one more step and then we'll be done. And I did mean to add, if you use a dedicated eye cream, this is also the same time. You can probably do it like before you do the moisturizer, or you can even do it after. I don't know if it matters so much for your nighttime routine. So the final step that I personally do is I use like a sealant of like an oil product. Now, you don't have to necessarily buy like a separate, like a commercial brand where they've already formulated everything for you. If you want to, you can just get like the simple oils just by themselves. If you have oily or acne-prone skin, the best non-comedogenic ones would be the squalane oil and then the jojoba oil. But if you are like me and you have more of the mature and dry skin, I recommend like the argan oil and then also the rose hip. And those are really good for just nourishing like more mature skin. Now I have one that I'm testing out on myself that is a mix. I'm not gonna, you know what, I can't even remember like what all is in it. I just know that it has quite a few different oils in it because I researched like all the stuff that's like really good for my skin or really for like mature skin. And it happens to have these ingredients. And I did put like a light vanilla essence into it, just not an essential oil. And it just smells divine. And so this is one you don't even need a lot, but this is, so when you put the oil over it, it makes sure it seals all the moisture that you have already. So everything can, you know, like keep everything nice and moisturized. But the one caveat I think that I was told is that if you are like on a prescription, you may not want to put the oil over it because it's so effective that it would make your prescription work so well that you might be at risk for having more dry, red, irritated skin. However, like I said, I've been using it for the last 3 weeks and I haven't really had that issue. In fact, you know, I notice more like if my skin doesn't use it, because when I wake up the next day after using my serum, it just feels so much better. And I think even when I didn't do this, I think I was using like a mix of like castor oil and something else, because I do like castor oil a lot too. You just have to be careful. You have to use some other lighter oil because it's going to feel so thick on your face and it doesn't feel quite as good, even though it's really good for your skin. And, you know, I've been like, when I don't use this, I can tell like my skin notices a difference. But like when I use this, my skin feels like silk the next morning when I wake up. But yeah, this is one you just do a little bit, and you want to put it just on your fingertips. I think I just put like a drop like on each finger, and then you just rub it together, and then you can just roll it onto my skin like that. So you're not even like rubbing it on, because one of the things is if you are wearing a prescription, you don't want that to negate, because if you disturb the prescription, it may not be as efficient, and we don't want that. I put like the extra like on my neck. So right now it's that really nice shiny effect, but by the time I wake up in the morning, my skin just looks great and normal and silky. Okay, and that's pretty much the routine that you can follow for taking it off. At the very least, do the double cleanse, where you're using some kind of like oil to remove and melt the minerals off your face, and like if you have the eye makeup, and then using the cleanser of your choice. For me, it was like the Cetaphil, and then also like my own personal that I'm experimenting on myself. And then you can follow it up with those other products in this order. I'll have, you know, the order for you here. And then, and that's all you really need to do, so that, because, you know, the skin prep is important, how you apply it is important, but then also how you take it off is important too, because if you take it off in a way that's drying to your skin, then you'll end up having like a dry face the next time you put it on. And this way it just keeps everything on a nice level where everything always is well hydrated, well moisturized, and that is really the best canvas for wearing loose mineral foundation. And please like and subscribe so that you can keep up with our future videos, as we hope to have many more tutorials on how to put on makeup and other educational things that I hope will help you to be more successful when you put on your mineral makeup. Thank you so much. Good night and bye-bye. I am adored.